You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we got a special guest in the studio today.
We have an awesome special guest, and he is one of the great political gurus out there, the great political consultant who has advised many presidents, including President Trump. And joining us now is the great Dick Morris, who we love. Dick, your reaction, first of all, we're so thrilled to see you, Dick. I love you. You know, we've known each other for years, and everybody in the room is so happy to have you here. You just heard the big news. First off, that this interview is going to happen. It's going to be Thursday night with CNN Dana Bash. And it's with Waltz and Harris together. Wow. What's your reaction? It looks like she's, I don't know the answer to that. Tim, can you answer that one?
Just the three of them, not Trump.
Yeah, exactly. No. This is the interview. This is not the debate.
In other words, what they're doing is practicing for the debate.
Yep.
But they're not leaving Kamala Harris by herself. They have the vice president, Waltz, to back her up in case she doesn't know the answer.
And then there will be a debate, that is going to happen. That's September 10th. But this Thursday, they're going to do a sit-down interview, Waltz and Harris and Dana Bash of CNN. Your reaction first on the interview, Dick. What do you think that it's, John's point, it's the two of them together.
Yeah, it's like,
come on.
It's like, I'll do the interview, but don't tell anyone. It's off the record.
right. It's a prep. It's a prep.
You know, that this deals with a big concern that I've had that I don't need to have as much anymore, which is that Kamala Harris wants to arrive late and leave early. And she arrives late because they took forever to name their nominee right up to the deadline when it still looked like it could have been Biden. And by delaying the start of that as late as they could, they truncated her exposure. And then by leaving early, I mean that they're encouraging early voting. And Pennsylvania, I think, is September 10th.
Yeah, North Carolina is the 6th.
The 6th,
The 6th.
Yeah. And it really means that she'll arrive late and leave early so that there's very little time for her to screw up and very little time for us to meet who the presidential candidate is going to be. And I think that's deliberate by the Democrats, and I think they're playing the calendar.
I think they're just testing her in a easy audience of CNN.
Yeah, but they can't stop. They can't pull her.
So what happens if she doesn't do a good job?
And she loses.
Now she goes to the basement to hide.
By the way, we don't know if the interview's live or not, you guys. It may be a taped interview. We don't know that, John. So it could be, oh, God, we'll edit that part out. We'll, you can do some fancy
we don't know
dancing.
That. We should wait and find out what
we don't know the terms.
We
don't know the terms, right? Because that could be interesting, too.
Right. That could be.
And also, Tim Waltz seems to be chatty. So she can have him chatty.
Yeah, it's nice that they have Tim there because they'll have somebody who at least is able to complete a sentence without notes.
He'll run the clock out
without cackling.
I thought it was fascinating. You're right. He'll run the clock out. I thought it was fascinating that Waltz wanted her to bring notes for the mock debate.
Yes.
And those notes are probably instructions to a teleprompter operator.
right.
What things to bring up is the answer so that she can appear to be knowledgeable and answer the questions. This pre-interview and the debate itself with ABC is in the nature of a cover-up. But the problem is that it's going to decide who the president is. Because if Trump wins this debate decisively, the election's over. And if she wins the debate, it's over. And we're in this terrible situation where we have to choose the president of the United States and the most powerful person in the world in a couple of weeks. The Democrats could have avoided this by speeding up their nominating process. They didn't have to wait until then and saying, hey, early voting is off. Let's just wait till Election Day. But they didn't do that because they know that the less time people have to think about Harris, the more likely they are to not nominate her.
Yeah, that's a great point. And they did that. I mean, you look at also just the clock, like you said, she's delayed. Even at the DNC, it was so thin on substance, Dick.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all smears. So what do you think is going to happen in this debate? And what does Trump need to do to win this debate? Like you said, because I agree with you. I think it's a high stakes debate, and it may only be, so far, it's the only one that they've agreed to. They just agreed to it like an hour or two ago. but it's the only one. So what does each side need to do?
Well, if it goes badly, I don't think Harris is going to give it another shot at it.
Right.
I think it'll be a one-shot thing, and it'll be footnote to history if there ever was one. But I believe Trump is going to do just fine. He'll do what he always does, which is give detailed answers to the questions and be very specific. And I think he'll be absolutely incredible at that, like he always is. Trump is probably the most practiced debater now in politics, in political history, because his rally speeches are very much like debates, same material, literally. And I think he's just going to completely ace this opportunity.
How much do you think the moderators will press? I've moderated a number of debates, and it makes a difference on follow-up. Granted, they're agreeing, from what I gather and what Trump just put out, it looks like they've agreed to the same terms as the CNN debate. She originally wanted to do a switcheroo. What a surprise. They switched her, of course, in coming in. But they wanted to do a switcheroo where it was sitting, and it was also unmuted mics. Apparently it's agreed.
And it was another candidate.
Yeah, it was another candidate. Minor detail, right?
Yes.
Right. I mean, you can't make it up. It's incredible. So now that, okay, it's this candidate, right? Okay, who am I debating? Is President Trump? Wait, who's against me? And now it sounds like they've agreed to the same terms. So, but the question is, will ABC in this case really be fair? And will they also ask follow-up questions? And can Trump press her on getting policy? Because she's been so thin on policy.
The answer to your first question is obviously no. They will not be fair. The question is, will they be unfair enough, and will we be on our toes enough to stop them from being unfair and from catching them? And I think that the debate with Biden augurs well for that. I think that they could have been much more aggressive to Biden, could have really taken him out. And I think they were, if anything, merciful in their questioning. And it's hard to see how they could be less, because I think I think that it'll create a cause celeb if they're not.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I did feel that they did step up the plate in that case in the CNN debate, to your point. Ed Cox.
Yes, Dick, maybe it is fair. The questions are fair. But as long as Kamala Harris comes up with some kind of an answer, isn't the press going to treat her as if it's a great answer afterwards?
Well, they are afterwards. The question is, how far afterwards? Remember, after the first debate, they were all talking about how Biden won. And it took 2 or 3 days for the world to sink in. So I think there will be that initial response, but I don't think it's going to last. I think people will see this debate for what it is. It'll be the debate that probably will be the most significant ever in terms of impacting who's going to be the president. I think it's going to be decisive and determinative of that. And I think that will inject a note, at least, of respectability in the way they cover it. Don't forget, the issue for the coverage is not, do we help Trump or do we help Harris? It's, do I have a career in journalism after this? Do I have to get a new job working at Christie's?
For some, that would be a promotion.
No, those cans are getting very heavy now.
You know, the key, I think, Dick, also in the debate is going to be, because the way I see Kamala Harris and watching her in some of the primaries, even though she didn't go very far, as we know, but she was a very nasty debater. I mean, she did the famous moment against Joe Biden, where she said, I was that woman on the bus. I was the girl on the bus, calling him a racist in a sense. I see her in this case, and I'm saying this as a woman, I see her saying, wait a minute, you're interrupting a woman, you're being racist, you're being this. I see her going really nasty. Mm-hmm. How will Trump respond?
Well, Trump will not be baited. Trump is well used to that tactic and well immunized from it. And he will stay on the issues and be very effective on that. And he won't engage in personal vitriol or anything about race or gender or stuff like that. And I don't think that Harris is expecting him to do that. I think everybody gets that he's not going to try that. And I think the debate will go very, very well. I believe that Trump will win it decisively, and based on that, I believe Trump will win the election decisively. But if it doesn't go well, and Trump does lose the debate, and maybe loses it during the debate, then I think you have to look at the possibility of President Kamala Harris. God help us.
God help us.